connecting volunteers with litter cleanup locations. My name is Elena Berg, and I am a planner in the Environment and Development Department of the North Central Texas Council of Governments, and I work on the Trash Free Waters Grant Project for our agency. I am not the only one who works on the project. However, I would like to introduce the other members of our team who work on the project. We have Tamara Cook, our project lead, the senior program manager, as well as Cassidy Campbell, a senior environmental and development planner, and Krista Guzman, environment and development planner too. And you can contact any of us at any time with questions about the project. We'd be happy to help you. And I know that they will be monitoring the chat box if you have any questions today. We have also partnered on this grant with our counterpart in Houston, the Houston-Galveston Area Council, as well as the Meadows Center for Water and the Environment out of Texas State University. And we will go ahead and start off with our first question today. What type of organization do you work for? And we'll take just a few more seconds. Okay, I think we're ready to move to our next question. And this is an open-ended question. Why did you decide to attend this webinar today? We'll move to the third question. And that is, what is your level of familiarity with the Trash Free Texas website? This is great. Thank you for participating. Okay, that's great. I have some basic knowledge of it. That's good to know. So on our agenda today, we are going to talk about the North Central Texas Council of Governments' efforts to foster a litter-free environment in North Texas, and then the Meadows Center for Water and the Environment from Texas State University will talk about how to utilize the statewide Adopt a Spot map on the Trash Free Texas website. And we'll also hear from the City of Fort Worth on their experiences with the Trash Free Texas website. So why is NCT-COG involved in the issue of litter and litter in our waterways? Litter is a huge problem in Texas that impacts us all. A study completed by Burns and McDonnell for Texans for Clean Water in 2017 examined 9 cities in Texas that represent 25% of the state's population. The study concluded that these cities spend more than $50 million a year on litter abatement, education and outreach, and enforcement. This amount is for direct costs by municipalities only and does not include the costs by the private sector in litter abatement or any type of valuation of volunteer time. So the cost is likely higher than $50 million. Litter is tied to our waterways. Approximately 80% of the trash found in our waterways derives from land-based sources. In Texas, this trash then eventually finds its way into the Gulf of Mexico and our oceans. Marine litter is also a problem due to its persistence in the environment, meaning its inability to break down completely, leading to problems with microplastics in our oceans and coastlines. And I know there's a lot of information on this slide, so I will try to cover the main important points. And the point of this slide is to show you an analysis of how we are envisioning our work on the Trash Free Waters project, which will last for about another 2.5 to 3 years. This map shows the 16-county NCT-COG region. And we know that many organizations in our region do cleanups, and many of our NCT-COG members are members of Keep Texas Beautiful, but many are not. About 10% of NCT-COG's population is not a Keep Texas Beautiful affiliate, and that's about 173 of our local member governments. And many of those non-Keep Texas Beautiful affiliates are smaller communities who may not have a lot of resources. And so the questions we are examining during this project are, what can we provide to Keep Texas Beautiful affiliates that are not duplicative? How do we improve access to adoptable litter cleanup sites to all? no matter what your resources. What tools or resources can we create during this project to reduce any barriers to accessing the ability to adopt sites and make those locations available to volunteers? We have learned through our previous work at NCT-COG that there is power in numbers, and we will use the lessons learned from our Know What to Throw campaign and Holiday Grease Roundup and other campaigns that we have amplified to get the word out about litter in our region and the Trash Free Texas website. We want to make it easy and convenient for volunteers to find a site to clean up and clean it up and not have to maneuver through several websites or several entities to do so. We will also work to support the creation of a centralized data collection platform for all to use and for all to be taking uniform trash collection metrics. Keep Texas Beautiful and the Houston Advanced Research Center are already working to develop a statewide litter database. And so we are partnering with them on their effort and how we can promote it and possibly link it in some way to the Trash Free Texas website. And we want to build on the existing Trash Free Texas website and the map that is there and explore improvements we can make to that website. So what is the Trash Free Texas website? It is a website that was deployed in 2018 through a partnership with the Environmental Protection Agency and others. It encourages the adoption of litter hotspots and displays those litter hotspots on a web map. It also provides litter-related resources. We are focusing our grant efforts on the Trinity River Basin, and that's why we partnered with the Houston-Galveston Area Council, so we could cover as much of the Trinity River Basin as we could, but we hope to expand our efforts statewide. The current entities in the NCT-COG region with adoptable litter sites on the map of Trash Free Texas are Denton, Fort Worth, Grand Prairie, and I believe Arlington as well. We want to populate this map during our project with all entities in our region and even statewide and get their locations on the map. And those locations can be any location, school, park, river, coastline, any area that needs to be cleaned up. And the entities don't have to be cities. They can be water districts or any entity that would like to add a spot. The Trash Free Texas enhancements that we are working on, again, is that we want to make the current Trash Free Texas website a sort of one-stop shop for everyone in the state to find a litter cleanup location, adopt it, and input any data that they collected at their cleanup in a uniform manner, and find resources that they can download for public engagement and outreach. So part of our efforts in finding out what resources would be useful to entities through this project was developing a survey. And we reached out to multiple jurisdictions to get this data so we could support the development of a statewide litter database. We could find out what resources are needed or lacking. And many of you may have seen this survey. We distributed it in December of last year, and we asked for anyone who received it to distribute it to anyone that they could think of who was involved with litter cleanup events. And we wanted to share some of those results with you today. We received 251 responses from 66 counties in Texas. 77% of respondents said they participate or host cleanup events, and 53% said they participate in regional events. And a great number, a positive number we thought, was that 59% supported the development of a statewide litter collection database. And also interesting numbers is that 95% reported they have never used an app to collect litter data. However, 70% supported a mobile or web-based app to collect data on trash as they're cleaning up. So that was interesting as well too. And you can see the other information there in the slides when you receive a copy of the slides as well. And at this time, we have another poll question for you. If you could rank the items that would be most valuable to your organization, And the choices are a web-based map of litter cleanup locations, coordinated regional cleanup events, coordinated regional campaigns that leverage existing resources, regional workshops. We could share lessons learned or best practices, or reaching out to out of the norm groups for cleanup activities. And this could be paddling groups or running clubs. This is very useful. Thank you for participating. And I just wanted to, again, give a shout out to our partners on this project, the Houston-Galveston Area Council, which is NCTCOG's counterpart in the Houston region, and the Meadows Center for Water and the Environment out of Texas State University. And at this time, I would like to introduce Aspen Navarro, who is with the Meadows Center for Water and the Environment. And she will talk to us about how to add your sites to the Trash Free Texas website. And she is the program coordinator for the Meadows Center for Water and the Environment's Watershed Services Division at Texas State University. She has a Master's of Science in Sustainability Studies and a Bachelor of Science in Geography, Resource, and Environmental Studies at Texas State University. She has also earned certificates in Geographic Information Science, Water Resources Policy, and Environmental Interpretation, also at Texas State. And her major roles include coordinating the Upper San Marcos River Watershed Protection Plan, the Trash Free Texas program, and the Texas Stream Team Citizen Science program. So thank you, Aspen, for being with us, and I turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Elena. But like Elena said, I'm going to be going over how to add your Adopt-a-Spot sites to our statewide Adopt-a-Spot map. And before we do that, I do want to introduce other members of the Meadows Center team who is also working on the Trash Free Texas program. So we have Laura Parchman, who is also on the call. She is our GIS and Data Management Associate, and Jenna Walker, who is our Deputy Director. So this is the Trash Free Texas team here at the Meadows Center. Okay, just an overview of what I'll be talking about today. I'm going to teach you how to add your Adopt-a-Spot sites to our statewide map. I'll just kind of go through a run through of the whole map submission process from start to end, and then I'll give you an overview of what our new revamped lovely map looks like. Thank you to Laura Parchman for that. And then I will leave y'all with the contact information too as well. Okay, so the first step on adding your sites to the Adopt-a-Spot map is to go to our website. So that's going to be www.trashfreetexas.org. You will click on that lovely coordinator icon. And then as soon as you click on that, it'll take you to step 3 to where you will see an embedded Adopt-a-Spot data submittal form. And then if we hop on over to the next slide, Brian, I will go through a little bit more of what that Adopt-a-Spot data submittal form will look like. So you'll fill in contact information, and we really ask for this contact information to be for the coordinator directly. So whoever the coordinator is that is managing those spots, that way when volunteers come to the Adopt-a-Spot map, they are going to be able to go and contact who the coordinator is directly, say if they want to adopt a spot, or maybe they can no longer take care of that spot. So you'll fill out your contact information, your name, email address, phone number, and organization. And then there will be another section where we will ask you to select from 2 options. Whether you are submitting a form for the very first time, which is new submission. So you'll select this if you've never ever entered Adopt-a-Spot's sites to Trash Free Texas. And then from there, if you have entered sites before, then you'll select the revised form. So that'll be the second option. I'm going to go through this via slide, and then I'm also going to share my screen and take y'all through this process one more time, showing you directly how to access it via the website. So we'll get into a little bit more, but just note, if you want to update a site, say that it was previously listed as available, but now it has become adopted, you will always choose the second option. So that'll be if you're adding, removing, or updating any Adopt-a-Spot sites. So on the Adopt a Spot form, and again, I'll show you all this on the website, we have a template we would like for you to follow whenever you are uploading your sites to the Adopt a Spot data submittal form. And this is called a data template. It's linked right on the Adopt a Spot data submittal form on the website, but for the purposes of this presentation, I just blew it up here to show you how it looks like. So really simple, it's an Excel data sheet. On the left side, we have all of this lovely information and instructions for you on what should go in each of these columns. So I popped in an example here for y'all. So I did the San Marcos River at Sewell Park. So that's the location name. And you can see here on the left-hand side too, how to name the locations of your Adopt a Spot sites. We want to give y'all free range to do this, but we also want to make sure that the names are also something that can be pinpointed by your volunteers. So kind of something that has a geographic reference to it. So I chose San Marcos River at Sewell Park, and then inputted the latitude and longitude for that site specifically. The latitude and longitude, we ask that it is in decimal degrees. You can pull up Google Maps or Google Earths and get the decimal degrees very easily. Just pop them in to this data template. And then the adoption status, you have 4 different options for this column. It's either going to be available, meaning you want somebody to adopt it. It's going to be adopted, meaning it is not open for anybody else to come in and clean up that site. Or contact for status, which would mean maybe it's currently adopted, but it will become open for adoption pretty soon. And then the last one is remove. So this is really going to be for that submitting a new revised adoption data submittal form to us. So if you need to remove a site, maybe it's no longer accessible or whatever the reason may be, putting remove lets us know that you would like that Adopt a Spot site that is currently on the map to be removed. So if you have, let's say, 20 different sites, you will have a row for each single site that you would like for us to add onto the Adopt a Spot map. And then as soon as you download the data template, fill it out and upload it to the Adopt a Spot data submittal form, you hit submit and that goes directly to us. Okay, so again, the map submission process, I just wanted to visually tell you guys the whole kind of start to finish process of how this looks like. So you submit a new or revised Adopt a Spot data submittal form. And then from there, it goes to our Trash Free Texas team where we review the sites. We make sure those coordinates look good, site name, contact information, everything is populated. And then from there, we will publish it to the map online. And then we'll let you know, the coordinator know that, hey, your sites are up, they're loaded, maybe make sure everything looks good. And then from there, if you have any questions or adjustments you would want to make, all you would have to do is just submit a revised form. Okay, now I'm going to take y'all through the actual website. So here is our Trash Free Texas website, www.trashfreetexas.org. And here's that coordinator button I was telling you guys about. So you just click it. And then from there, here is the Adopt a Spot data submittal form. So you just scroll down, you'll enter the coordinator's full name, email address, phone number, what organization you're with, and then here's that drop-down option we were telling you guys about a little bit earlier. So if you're submitting a new form, you'll click this one, and then it'll automatically prompt you to upload a file. Here's the data template that is linked onto the form. You just click it. It'll automatically download to your computer, and it looks exactly how I showed you guys in the slide. But if you're doing a revised, same exact thing, it'll prompt you to upload a form as well. And then once you're done filling it out, you hit submit, and that'll go to us directly. And then I want to show you guys what our map looks like as well. So here's the map. It is in an Esri dashboard. So this is what it'll look like once you have your sites uploaded to the Adopt a Spot map. So once you click on a site, all of that information that we ask you to fill out on the Excel sheet is now transferred onto this map process. So we have the site name, the latitude and longitude. If it's adopted by somebody, it'll be listed here, but this site is an available site. So currently doesn't have who the organization is that is adopting it. Again, it'll say if it's available, if it's adopted, or to contact for status, the availability, if it's open or not, and then the contact organization information. So again, that contact information is really for the coordinator or the main contact in the event that a volunteer sees the site and wants to contact you directly to adopt it. And then Over here on the right-hand side, we have our legend. So green is available, purple is adopted, and then gray is contact for status. We also have the major river basins delineated. And then we also link the adopt spot data submittal form on the map as well. So you can just click it and it'll take you to the form as well if you want to just directly revise it. And the contact information is on the map also. But again, website trashfreetexas.org. If you have any questions on the map or anything else that we could help you with, contact at trashfreetexas.org. And our direct phone number is 512-245-7376. And that is all I have for y'all today. So feel free to pop any questions in the chat. I will be on, and I know we're taking questions a little bit later, but I will try to answer anything along the way as well.
Thank you, Aspen. And now we will introduce Cody Wittenberg from the city of Fort Worth. He is the environmental manager with the Code Compliance Division in the Environmental Quality Division at the city of Fort Worth. And he will talk to us today about the Trash Free Texas, where it's been and where we are going with it. And he will also discuss why the city of Fort Worth uses the site. So you are
Absolutely.
on.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you to everyone. Great job this morning, or this afternoon, I guess, as it is now. So absolutely, just to kind of frame up where Trash Free Texas has been, you know, Trash Free Texas originated as part of the EPA's Trash Free Texas program as one project along the Gulf of Mexico. And initially, they needed a project in Texas, and they were going to tackle scrap tires. And unfortunately, the scrap tire pathway got sort of stalled just by the number of state legislative issues that we might have to face if we were trying to tackle illegal dumping of tires and things like that. So they kind of came back to the drawing board back in 2015 and had a group of stakeholders in the North Texas area come together to see if there was another project or program that we could tackle for Trash Free Texas, for Trash Free, the Trash Free unit for EPA. And Trash Free Texas kind of became an idea out of that stakeholder group. And the goal was to talk about, I see some comments in the chat box about adopt a street and adopt a spot. And through conversations with the group, everyone quickly elected that there were a lot of adoptive programs out there, and some were being managed by cities and local governments, some were being managed by nonprofits, some were really active in, say, the 80s or the 90s, but they had kind of fallen by the wayside. And with the digital age upon us, there was questions and thoughts about finding to work smarter, not harder, and to work together to create some options. And so over the past few years, you know, starting with just a simple idea, and then partnering with the Meadows Center, and then gathering other partners through various COGs and organizations, we've really been able to create this unified website that I think is near and dear to my heart and many others. So that's kind of where we were. We were just an idea, and it's morphed into this awesome partnership that reaches to every part of the state. And it's just exciting to see where it's come from and to where it is now. So then we look into the future, which gets us to today. One of the main goals today is really just to educate and not be the best kept secret for litter right now, but to really work with various partners and others and try to show you that this free tool is available. And we hope that we can find ways to collaborate better and make things better for every program around the state. So just some lessons learned from Fort Worth's perspective. You know, the first thing that people go is like, oh, that's a great plan. I'll get your spots. I'll get some spots over to you very quickly. And everyone's really excited about that. But then sometimes it sounds pretty easy, but then whenever people who are working in various job duties and wearing many hats within their organization start to try to track down those adoptable, sometimes it slows down and we get analysis paralysis. People feel the need to identify every spot in their community that needs to be adopted and to list that full list. And I would say lesson number one is worry if you don't have all of your spots identified. just give a few spots. It can be 2 spots, 3 spots, 5 spots. Start slow, and we'll go from there. And just a question, I'm not showing anything today. I just wanted to discuss some aspects. And there's a question about slides. I don't have any slides today. So that would be one lesson learned. A second lesson learned, of course, is that Trash-Free Texas is not intended to replace your program unless you wanted to. But the concept behind Trash-Free Texas was to have a very flexible platform that individuals could use to augment their current program if they had a current program, or they could use this to create a brand new program if they had never had that option in the past, and just work with your existing data sets. So one option might be, if you, let's say you are our community, you already have an Adopt a Street program or an Adopt a Spot program. In no way, shape, form, or fashion would we tell you that you need to do away with that. We just hope that this Trash-Free Texas website offers you an added tool and added resources to digitize and promote those spots out to your community. Through the years, we've developed some social media graphics and a really good communication strategy to help that information out to your stakeholders in your community. But at the end of the day, going back to the core mission of Trash-Free Texas, we simply want to connect people to places that need to be adopted for litter cleanup as we work together to clean up Texas. And I think at that point, I feel really comfortable with moving into questions, but Elena, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, thank you, Cody. We can go ahead and take questions. We have time for that. So let's see.
Oh, Elena, there's some questions that are going on in the chat I wanted to address, if that's okay.
Yes, go ahead, Aspen. Thank you.
Yeah, so looks like a few chats came in about uploading a shaped file to the Adopt-a-Spot data submittal form. Great question, something we honestly did not even think about for those large data sets. And currently, Laura did check while we were on this meeting, and sorry, let me turn my video on. And currently, the Adopt-a-Spot data submittal form doesn't allow for shaped files. However, I am going to put our email in the chat. That way everybody has it. If you do have a large shape file, feel free to send it to us. We don't want to discourage you from having to hold on and wait for us. Send it to us and we will get it uploaded onto the Trash-Free Texas website. That way we can get all, because I know that could be a pretty hefty document or file. So go ahead and send it over to us. Here's our email. contact@trashfreetexas.org. And if you can, just make sure to follow the same structure of the data template, where you do have your contact information, if it is available, site, adopted, contact for status, whatever it may be, if at all possible, and we will get that uploaded. Thanks, Elena.
Yes, you bet. If you want to do something that currently is not doable, it could be something we consider through this project of adding to the website that we enhance later. So just because it's not doable now doesn't mean that it will never be. Let us know if it's important to you to add to the site, or something that's impeding you to add sites, whatever it may be. We want to hear from you. And here's a question. What is the outreach? Is the website pretty well known or still getting its name out there? Does anyone on the team want to answer that one?
This is Tamara Cook at the North Central Texas Council of Governments. I'll weigh in, and then I'll maybe let Cody weigh in as kind of the one of the solo people that kind of spearheaded a lot of this over the last few years. So as NCT COG's role, and also HGAC, our Houston-Galveston partner, this is actually a much larger grant with many other activities that we will be doing to support Trash-Free Texas. This webinar today is really focused on one of our key goals of the grant, which is to get spots on this map. And really have a focused effort to populate the information. But there are many other moving parts and scope activities, one being, and I think Elena may have mentioned this earlier, looking at innovative ways to do outreach and work with groups that maybe haven't traditionally been involved in cleanups, like cycling groups, paddling groups. I know there's I think there was the very first image on the slide at the beginning of the presentation was a paddling group that was cleaning up trash in the Trinity River back in 2015 after a very large flood. And so we really want to do some different types of engagement in our region. We are actually also working on a regional cleanup competition that I think maybe Elena has one slide in a few minutes that she will cover. So there's many moving parts, and in terms of kind of the outreach on the website, that is something that our agency and HGAC are actively promoting in Facebook. We do have a Facebook page, and now that we've officially kicked off this project, we will be managing that Facebook page and actually Instagram as well. And really sharing information from KTB that they're posting, sharing from other partners in our region, Tarrant Regional Water District. As events are posted, we can share those on this platform and kind of make it a comprehensive kind of clearinghouse of information of all the partners that are out doing activities in our region. That's kind of the goal or the vision. I would say it will take some time to get to that stage, but that's the vision, is to use the Trash Free Texas as kind of the baseline platform for all of that. Hopefully that helps give some perspective on things moving forward.
Thank you, Tamara. And I'm seeing a question, is there an app currently available? No, not as part of the Trash Free Texas website.
Yeah, this is Tamara again. I'll just weigh in on that. We specifically asked that question in the survey because there are many websites that our agency currently supports that are mobile friendly websites. One is reportdfwdumping.org, and you can access that on your phone out in the field and take images of illegal dump sites and upload them to our website, and then we report it to the proper authority in our region. So there are things that we want to look at to make collecting data in the field at an actual, at a cleanup event as easy and streamlined as possible. And so that question for the app, there are many apps already out there. Literati, NOAA has an app that they use. I know some of our communities in our region have been using some of these apps already, but Trash Free Texas does not currently have one. But looking to the future with this common database that Elena talked about, that's something that we want to look at as an option. Is there a way to make something mobile friendly in partnership with KTB and HARC, who are working on that statewide database?
Yes, thank you, Tamara. And I'm seeing Aspen Navarro put in, just repeating, if you have large shape files that you would like for us to upload to the Trash Free Texas map, please email them at contact@trashfreetexas.org, and they will try to get it on the map. Use the data template as much as possible. And the question is, what are the difference between partners and coordinators? Cody is saying partners are those that do not necessarily manage sites, but support the project and helps to promote it to others. Coordinators are usually the individuals who manage the adoptable spots in their community. These are typically local Keep Texas Beautiful affiliate coordinators or litter program leaders within local governments. Okay, and so we will move on. And I just wanted to get in the next steps here, and we have some more poll questions too. The next steps are that I will be reaching out to entities in our region to add your sites to the Trash Free Texas map and help you as much as I can. And we will be working to enhance the Trash Free Texas website, make it easier to use and follow. We will continue coordination with partners on a statewide litter database, and for everyone to be inputting their uniform collected data into one place would be the goal, so that we can all benefit from that information. Check NCT COG's Trash Free Waters website for updates on the project and events, and that link is provided in the slide for you. And we have a community cleanup challenge coming soon, and you can go to the link there to find out the latest information. That is all the information I have right now on it, but it will be a regional cleanup program where communities are challenged to clean up more litter than the other, and so it should be a very fun event. And we will start posting information on Trash Free Texas and litter abatement on our social media, so please share those posts if you could to help us amplify the message and get the word out. And this is just our contact information. I am the lucky duck who is speaking today, but I am not the only one working on this project at NCT COG. As I said, we have Tamara Cook, our project lead, Cassidy Campbell, and Krista Guzman. You can reach out to them at any time on the Trash Free Waters project, as well as myself, and we're all happy to help you. And there's the link to our Trash Free Waters project webpage on our NCT COG website, and Trash Free Texas resources. There's social media that's been open recently, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and as well as the Trash Free Texas website is there for you. And again, the website for the North Texas Community Cleanup Challenge. And the next slide should be another poll question. We have 2 more questions for you. If you could please provide your answers. Does your organization already have a map that displays litter cleanup sites that can be adopted? Great. And last question, and that is, would your organization be willing to provide litter cleanup sites to the Trash Free Texas map? Yes, please contact me. Yes, but I don't have any sites right now. Maybe, with more information. No, or I don't know. That's great. And as I said, please reach out to me, and I will be reaching out to you to add your sites and assisting you with that effort. It is a major goal of our grant to add as many sites from as many entities as possible in our region to populate this map and make it convenient for volunteers to find spots and convenient for entities as well. And at this time, I will open it again for questions from attendees.
I had a question, I guess for Fort Worth, since they're on the call. How is Fort Worth currently utilizing the site with the program that they currently have? And I'm not really familiar with the program that Fort Worth has, so this is kind of just a general question on how you guys have incorporated the site into your current program, if you not, you had one.
Absolutely. So this is Cody again. Thank you for that question, Devin. So the city of Fort Worth had a kind of a unique program. When I came on staff, there was a sort of a split program between our parks department and our code compliance environmental section. And the parks department was really focused on cleaning up parks and adopting medians and areas near parks. And the Adopt a Street program was sort of still tied to code, but the city had a very complex contracting agreement, and people of any organization had to have insurance requirements. It was pretty complex. And so we started first by just redefining the program internally to make it really easy. And you may have seen earlier in the presentation where we really see this as a website where people can also share best practices and resources. Happy to make our current forms available, but we currently have a program where people can choose to adopt a spot. And in Fort Worth, our individual perspective is that people commit to a 2-year agreement to clean up what we prefer is monthly, but at a minimum every other month for those 2 years. And we also get questions all the time of, where can I adopt? Where can I find a location that my family or my Boy Scout troop or my church can adopt? And so the way we incorporated this particular website is by offering our spots on the map, and when someone emails or contacts us directly, we're able to give them the basics for our Fort Worth version of the adopter program that we employ, but then we tell people to access the map and identify any spots on the map that they might be interested in adopting, or to give us their own. Sometimes people want to adopt close to their home, and we may not have it formally identified. But the cool thing about Trash Free Texas is we can create a spot anywhere so long as the community wants to utilize it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that does answer my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cody. If organizations adopt a road or waterway, do they get a sign on the side of the site?
I can take that one. So whenever you get to signage, as adopt a street signs, every community kind of has their own adopt a street sign policy. So in Fort Worth, we of course will put a sign along a side of a road or in an median or in a park that's been adopted. And we've even been a little creative to try to incorporate adopted trails and even adopt a storm drain to some degree. And the signage for most is a sign at the side of the road with a smaller sign below it that shows the adopting agency. The only exception is the adopt a storm drain piece, which is just a placard. Of course, the Trash Free Texas program doesn't, through the website, our goal is not signage for us. We want to let every community have their own.
Cody, we lost you.
That was very strange. I got muted all of a sudden. So not sure where you lost me, but basically was just suggesting that, at the end of the day, signage is really up to the local community. The Trash Free Texas website is not dictating how people can put up different signage. That's still a local program variant that is up to the local program.
And I see another question. Will graphics be developed as part of the Trash Free Waters project to provide to cities and other organizations? Some graphics about the facts you shared at the beginning of the presentation of the extent of the trash problem and other things to help encourage residents to take action. There will be an outreach component to this project, but the specifics on those deliverables has not been decided yet. Tamara, do you want to tackle that one as well?
Yes, I was just I'm trying to go in order and answer as many as I can in the chat box. I didn't get to Blake's yet. Hi, Blake. Yes, one of the goals of this, in addition to getting spots on the map, we want to promote it, and we have a budget set aside to actually buy advertising through Google and Facebook and others to actually promote this site. But we don't want to necessarily spend a lot of time and effort doing that until we have spots on the map for residents and businesses to actually go and adopt. So kind of our first initial push here over the next 2 to 3 months is let's work with those of you who are really interested. So thank you for letting us know, because we will be contacting you very soon and getting those sites on the map, so then we can start publicizing it and advertising it more in our region, and you can share those. You can share a link on your own website. There is no cost to any of this. And as part of that effort, we will be producing media assets that any local government could use. So if any of you on the line are familiar with our Know What to Throw campaign that has been very successful in our region related to recycling, we produce a number of assets on a monthly basis on a number of different topics that range from Facebook posts, easy JPEGs that a city can use and post on their own Facebook or in their newsletter, and have those posted on our website for download by anyone and everyone. So they are publicly accessible assets that have been produced in our team. So we're going to use a similar model, Blake, so that those information and communication material and assets are available. We're just not quite there yet, as Elena mentioned.
Thank you, Tamara.
Elena, I do see that Annie's hand is raised. I think she's still on.
Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Great. So I suppose my question is for anyone, but I guess maybe towards Cody in terms of implementation. So I'm with Bayou Preservation Association, so we do have, we might be some of the only dots down in Houston already on the map. But, I think I'm curious as to, we can, of course, put plenty of trash sites on there. We know where a ton are, but as far as, us we can be the organization that is, I guess, I don't know the right word to use, but hosting that site, so to speak. But if we have, like you said, individuals, say it's not even another agency or organization, but just like a family that wants to adopt that, or a school or something like that, are they, I guess I'm confused on the process. Like, are they taking it over from us if they found it through, like, we were the listing organization and they contacted us because we were the coordinator, and then they've adopted it? But, like, I guess I'm confused about, like, quote unquote ownership. Does that make sense?
Sure. So I will try to kind of take it from a perspective of how we do it, and then we'll see if that answers your question. So in Fort Worth, we have, if you were to look on the map and hover over one of the available spots in the Fort Worth community, you're going to see that the email to reach my team for Keep Fort Worth Beautiful specifically, there's an email address that people can reach out directly to us, but also there's a way to reach out through the Trash Free Texas team if needed. And so what would typically happen is, if you're a resident of Fort Worth and you want to adopt a section of street, then you could look on this map and you might find one that you like, and theoretically you would click on that spot, identify the local coordinator, which is Keep Fort Worth Beautiful in this case, and send an email to that and start the discussion with the local program. And then so you start working with my team and they say, yep, you're good to go. We do all of the documentation just through our own staff. And then once that person has decided they are formally adopted and it's all good to go, we then submit the new information to the website so that new individual has shows that it's adopted and who the adopter is if they want their information on the website.
I got it. So it's almost like, just to give it a name, it's almost like we're foster parents trying to give these people their forever spots, at least for 2 years.
That's exactly what we try to do.
Okay, got it.
Just do one more question that I see here in the chat, which was, are you making a 2-year commitment on the Trash Free Texas website? Cody, do you want to take that one?
Absolutely. So as part of this particular, trashfreetexas.org, we are not requiring anyone to adhere to a specific time frame. 2 years is what the Fort Worth program uses for our standard of adoption agreements. But if you work in another city or another county, again, you have the full, complete freedom to set your program up the way you want to. We just hope that trashfreetexas.org is a helpful tool to promote those sites for whatever time frame you choose.
Thank you. And if you have any other questions for Cody or the Meadow Center or for NCT COG, please feel free to contact us. Thank you all for joining us. And with that, this webinar is now over. Thank you.